Good morning everyone, welcome to Egom Achieve Lifestyle of live streaming classes. My name's Amanda. We're going to do our 30-minute Pilates class this morning. It's aimed at all levels. I hope you're feeling well today. No niggles and any injuries. If you do have any niggles or any tight spots, just be mindful of your bodies. Please work with them and make sure you communicate with them. I will offer different progressions, okay, so everything from foundation, beginner level, all the way up to those that need to be challenged a little bit further. Now today we're going to use the resistance band. If you haven't got one, please don't worry, you can do exactly the same movements without, but if you do have a resistance band at home, then go grab it and we can use that today in our Pilates session. Alright, so let's think about our Pilates body. So we're going to start off with our feet and, in fact, grab your band if you have one. If you haven't, when we get to the point where we're breathing, I just want you to place your hands on your rib cage. So let's just take the band and wrap it behind the back of the rib cage. Alright, so you want your band to be nice and flat across the back of the shoulder blades. You can gently cross it in front of you. And then we'll think about our Pilates setup. Remember, if you don't have a band, don't worry, you're going to place your hands on the base of your rib cage. So, quick glance down, make sure your toes are in line. Lift your toes up into the air, spread them out, and then make that connection with your feet and the floor. Just start with a gentle rocking action forwards and backwards to make sure that we can find our centre of gravity, we find that even balance through the feet. Lovely, let's bring it up to the thighs. The thighs are nice and soft, and then we up the hips, pelvis and spine. So gentle rocking action with your pelvis forwards and backwards. Let's find the neutral alignment. So we want somewhere in between the arch and tilt. Alright, so we take that tailbone slightly under, we level the hips out in front. Now start to think about lengthening up through the crown of the head, but when you do, keep your ribs attached to your abdomen. So your ribs are centered over your pelvis. Allow your shoulders to slide down your back, and let's focus on a couple of breaths. So take a breath in through the nose and a breath out through the mouth. Good, breath in through the nose and a breath out through the mouth. So we're either holding onto the band and we're just allowing that band to expand as we allow our ribs to move outwards to the side. We stretch them out to the side to get the lateral thoracic breath. It's the breath we use in Pilates, a forced breath, but it enables us to keep an active center. Alright, so we can keep our belt muscle engaged. If your hands are on the base of the ribs, just allow your fingertips to move away from each other and then draw them back together. Good, let's do one more breath, and then on this breath, I want you to, on the breath out, I want you to draw your navel in. Just a mild engagement as you draw the navel towards the spine. The belt muscle is active, so we are good to go. Let's turn to the side. Now keep your hips facing the front as we do that. Come back to center and turn to the other side. So if you're using a band, you can gently pull on the band just to aid that movement. If you're not using a band, bring your hands into prayer position and do the same here as we gently rotate from side to side. So remember, your hips are fixed to the front. Lovely. Breath out to turn. Breath in and back to center. Breath out to turn. Breath in and center. Lovely. On the next one, come back to center and let's lift up and down on our toes. So let's focus on a bit of balance work. Breath in as we lift up, breath out and down. Now try and keep an even weight between your big toe and your little toe to stop your ankles from rolling outwards to the side. That's it. Good, can we challenge this movement further? As we lift, we're then going to see if we can turn to the right. So we add in our last movement where we rotate through the spine. We come back to center and then we come down. Good, let's try the other side. So we lift, we rotate. The hips stay facing the front. Come back to center and come down. If you're struggling to balance here and to combine those two moves, just keep your heels down on the floor and just come back to the rotations only. Let's relax there. We're going to take the band in front of us. If you have no band, you're just going to float the arms up and down one at a time. Just a nice light grip, so there's quite a bit of slack in the band. Shoulders are sliding down, feet are still in parallel. Let's lift with the right arm up into the air. And then the left. Now remember, you're going to see the opposite of what I'm doing. We have a bit of a technical issue at the minute with the camera. So when I say my right, you're going to see my left and vice versa. Good, so as you're floating the arm up and down, I want you to really focus on your shoulder blades. Draw them down your back. Don't allow the ribs to flare up. You want to keep them attached to your abdomen. So all the time you're maintaining that neutral alignment through your spine. Lovely. Good, we're going to try floating both arms together. So if you're using a band, take your hands shoulder width apart only. Then, breath in and lift. Breath out and down. If you haven't got a band, just floating those arms up and down. So we're preparing ourselves both mentally and physically for our movements ahead. Good, only take the arms as far as your flexibility will allow you. Don't force the movement. Remember, all our movements are done with control. And also we use that flow principle. No beginning and no end. Good, let's see if we can lift up onto the toes as we float those arms into the air. Lovely. Breath in. Breath out. One more time. And then we're going to take the hands nice and wide on the band. Now this time, when you take your hands wide, you may want to watch one first, because you're going to take your hands all the way over your head and all the way back again, trying to keep that even pull through the band. We want to avoid any chicken heads, okay, so your head's not allowed to drop forward. You've got to maintain your posture and that neutral spine. If you haven't got a band, then your movement looks like this. Nice big stretch, big circle as far as you can with your hands behind, and then bring them all the way back round in front of you. Lovely, so take them up and over. Can you feel any difference between that right and left side? Start to make comparisons. We want to work out where our tight muscles are so that we can stretch them. And we want to work out where we feel weak so we can strengthen. Pilates is about restoring the body's natural balance. Lovely, one more time. Good. If you're using a band, just pop it down on the floor. Take your feet a little bit wider. Let's just do some gentle rotations side to side. Allow the arms to wrap around the waist. And allow your foot to come with the movement. So nice gentle mobilization for your spine. Good. Keep lifting through the crown of the head. So remember, all the time we elongate the spine. Lovely. Come back to center. Take a breath in, lift, and then breath out and stretch. Breath in, lift, breath out and down. So let's just open out the side of our body now. Let's see where we can stretch to, again without forcing the movement. So where will your body allow you to go today? Does it need TLC, or is it ready to be challenged? Lovely, one more time each side. Good, remember to keep an active centre, so belt muscle engaged, so we support the movement. Alright, keep your feet wide. Let's do a few pliés. So we're going to do a nice wide plie with our toes turned out. Pelvis and spine neutral, but this time I want to engage your pelvic floor. So let's change the focus. Draw the pubic bone and tailbone towards each other. Draw your two sit bones together, then a mild engagement upwards. Now, think about your back sliding down the wall as you plie, and then lift up on your toes to releve. Let's try that again. We plie down, and we releve up. So I really want you to focus on your posture as you do this. Try not to let your body drop forwards, okay? It's not like a normal squat. You're imagining you've got that wall behind you and you're sliding your back down the wall. Lovely. Good, let's do one more. And then we're going to bring our feet back into parallel. So, with your feet in parallel, your pelvis and spine is neutral. Let's engage the belt muscle again and see if we can lift the right knee and then the left knee. Now, if you struggle to lift the leg off of the floor, modify and just take your toes down in front of you. So you're still seeing if you can center your body, but just making that movement a little bit easier. Now I want you today to imagine your ribs here are a church bell, and we want to keep the church bell hanging in the center, so we're not allowed to ring it to the side as we lift each knee. We are going to see if we can challenge this movement even further. So we're going to lift the knee, holding the knee up. Can you lift up and down on your toes? Let's see if we can do 3 on each side without ringing our bell. It's a tricky one, so if it is too hard, please stay with the previous level. I think I just rang my bell there. Good, one more. There you go, well done. Okay, let's do some roll down. So let's step to the back of our mats. Now, those that have a band, you can place your band underneath your feet. Just have an even pull on both sides of your band. I want you to stand tall and think about your posture first. So allow the shoulders to slide down, engage your belt muscle, take a breath in. Breath out, chin to chest, and allow the spine to unfold. Vertebrae by vertebrae, we come down to the floor, where we take a breath in at the bottom. And then breathe out and slowly roll up. And when you feel that tension in your band, draw your shoulders down your back and lift through the crown of the head. If you don't have a band, you're just doing your normal roll downs. But do focus on those shoulders and your posture as you stand. So remember, when we're coming up, the navel draws in and the shoulders slide down back to the tailbone. So I want you to grow taller every time. Good, just work at that pace that feels right for you. If you're really tight in the back of your legs, soften your knees as you go down. Remember, you don't have to come all the way to the floor. Lovely. Let's try one more, and let's transition this one down onto our mats. So if you're working with the band, we're just going to let go and pad your hands forward to come onto your hands and knees. Now we're going to try the push-up today. There's 3 different levels of the push-up. So the push-up can be done with your knees underneath your hips. It can also be done with your knees back. And we also have our full push-up option. If you choose one of the harder levels, please make sure when you come down your back doesn't collapse. If it does, then you need to come back to an easier position. So let's begin. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, angled back or full push-up. Draw your navel away from the mat, slide your shoulders down, and when you're ready, take a breath in and go down, a breath out and push up. A breath in and down, and out and up. So I'll just show you each level. Let's aim for 10. If you do start in a harder level and you begin to struggle, don't compromise the quality of your movement. All right, if you do start to struggle, you can return your knees. Or if you struggle here, you can bring your knees closer in. There's always ways to modify and progress the movement. Lovely, one more time, or when you get to 10, you're going to sit back with the bottom high and stretch out the front of the chest. All right, let's bring it down onto our tummies for some swimming. So, if you have a little towel with you, you can place that towel underneath your forehead. So you just roll it up, make it into like a little cushion, and then that will help encourage the neutral setup with your head, neck and spine. So stretch both hands in front. Relax your hips, legs and feet in parallel behind you, and let's try engaging the pelvic floor again. When you're ready, we're going to lengthen the opposite hand to foot. Now, if you're newer to Pilates, then really you want to start with just the feet and resting the head into the hands. Okay, keeping those shoulders mildly engaged to create a V shape down your back. If you want to progress this movement, you can increase the tempo slightly. So you've always got that tension through the body. With swimming, we're trying to strengthen the muscles in the back, which help combat a forward rounded posture. Be mindful not to leave your head behind. Okay? If we don't allow the head to lift with the movement, we're not going to strengthen the muscles here in the back of the neck. Once you're done, and you've made it to 10 on each side, or if you need to rest before, turn onto your side. We're going to take it into the side kick. Now again, if you've got a band, you can work with a band. If not, exactly the same thing without. You're going to place the band around the top foot. No elegant way of doing that one. All right, you're going to stretch your bottom leg and stretch your top arm. So you've got a nice long line through your body. Engage your belt muscle to engage your core, and then when you're ready, allow that top leg to come forwards and backwards. So take a breath out as the leg comes forward, and a breath in as you return it behind. So keep that control through your centre. So try not to let your rib cage move, your spine, or your pelvis. If you find it too challenging with the band, okay, you can work without, and you can just have that fingertip resting down in front of you. All right? You don't have to work without it. Lovely, let's try a couple more for side kick. We're then going to try a variation of side kick, which is the side kick circle. So we'll take that leg up and round. We can have our bottom leg resting on the floor, or to challenge the movement further, we can have that bottom leg floated. And then we continue to do our circles. Again, you may be too challenged with balance. If you are, let go of the band, fingertip down in front of you. But try not to rely too heavily on the hand that's in front. Lovely. Let's try a couple more here. And then we're going to try one more variation of our side kick, which is called hot potato. So you keep your foot flexed, you dip the foot in front, and you dip it behind. Dip in front and behind. So challenge your balance, both sides of your body, front and back. Lovely. How much control have we got? Good, we're doing really well. Remember, I can't see you, so please monitor yourself a little bit more closely than you would when you're in class with me. Lovely. Rest whenever you need to. Bend your bottom leg, give yourself some more support, and now let's stretch that top leg. So you can ball the band in to stretch the front of the thigh by tilting the pelvis forwards. You push through the hip. If you haven't got a band, you can hold your foot in your hand and draw your heel towards your bottom. So I don't mind whether you're pulling your band in or you're using your hand. But we just want to open out the front of the hip and thigh. Often it's an area that we overuse, and the muscle in the hip shortens and gets tight. So really important to keep it flexible and open. Nice and long. Lovely. Well done. Let's turn over onto our back. Now we can again work with the band or without. If you're going to work with, you're going to keep your foot in the band. I'm going to do the single leg stretch. So your head will rest down, we'll keep a neutral spine. So find that natural curve that is running through your back. Once you've found neutral, just holding onto your band, bend your knees so your leg is in tabletop position. Engage your belt muscle, then when you're ready, breath in to prepare, breath out, push the foot away. Breath in and back, breath out, and push away. So for those working without the band, single leg here pushing. So single leg stretch. Maintaining that neutral curve, so making sure the hips don't drop away from you. With the single leg stretch, we head for that same point each time. So think about using our precision principle. Lovely. Once you've made it to 10, or if you've lost count, 1 or 2 more, and then we're going to take it into the single leg circle. So let's stretch that leg up. Your supporting leg either bent or straight. But if you find when you're straight you lose your neutral spine and your hips drop away, then come back to leg bent so you can support the neutral curve. Let's open that leg out to the side and back to centre. So we take it into the single leg circle. Good. Keep your hips facing the ceiling. I'm going to extend my leg out. But if your leg is extended and you lose that control of your hips and you can't keep them facing the ceiling and you find that they rock from side to side, again, just come back. So a nice mobilisation of your hip socket. Lovely, well done. Good, finish the one you're on and let's swap over. Let's take the other foot in and we bring the other foot back down onto the floor. Where we take it into the single leg stretch. So the head is down, the leg is in tabletop position, arms are down. When you're ready, engage your gut muscle. Take a breath in, with the breath out, push forwards. So not too much resistance in your band. You want to be able to maintain that neutral curve. Working without the band, exactly the same thing here. Drawing down with the navel, making sure the neutral curve stays the same. Good. Breath out, breath in. Into that single leg stretch. Working for that same point in front of you. Lovely. Once you're done, you'll take it into the single leg circle. So again, make sure you've got an active centre before you start to circle that foot around. Leg bent or leg straight. But remember, you want to keep your hips nice and still as you do this. So if you feel your hips rolling from side to side, it means you've lost your control. So maybe just keep the circle a little bit smaller. Okay, and bend the supporting leg. Really nice hip mobility movement. Alright, finish the one you're on and let's just slide that band off. We can take a hand behind the knee and then hug a knee transition to take a seat, where we're going to take it into the teaser. So stay side on in your mat. Now when you do your teaser, you may need a little bit more support behind you. The idea is that we want to keep the legs still, one leg lifted and still, and we want to touch just the tip of the shoulder blade and then head back up again. Alright, so if you've got a ball, a sofa cushion or a towel and you struggle to hit the tip of your shoulder blade, place it behind your back and just go as far as you can. You can even bend your knee, okay, make that movement smaller. Let's maybe just try 5 on the right, 5 on the left. If you do have a band at home and you're struggling to keep that leg lifted, you can use the band to support the leg. Alright, just makes it a little bit easier, takes that focus away from the front of the thigh and hip. For those that have been trying to progress to 2 feet, again, you can place both feet in the band and use that band to support the legs. If you find when you do this your legs are coming backwards and forwards, then you know this isn't the level for you just yet. Alright, the teaser is about teasing the upper body away from the lower body. It's a really tough one in your core. You're going to feel this once you made it to 10. You can come up. Well done. Good work. All right, whenever we've done something to strengthen the front of our body, we need to balance out and we need to open out the front. So we strengthen the back of our bodies. So into the supine leg pull. Hands behind, chest is open. Then we lift those hips into the air to create a nice long line through the body. Breath out, we lift. Breath in and down. Breath out, push and lift. Now if you struggle to weight bear through your arms, through your wrists, then just a stretch. Modify the movement. Remember, stretching is as important as the strength work we do, because if our bodies are tight, it means that we're going to be restricted in the way we move. So if it's a nice stretch, breath in, breath out, nice easy breath. Anyone wanting progression, we've got that option to lift the leg. Again, however, the warning sign, if you lift the leg and the bottom drops, you know again you're not ready for that just yet. And one more thing to be mindful of is when you're coming back, not to open the head out. Okay, be mindful of not crushing here the vertebrae in the back of the neck. All right, let's turn and face the front and let's do the spine stretch. Now, again, we can use our band or even a long bath towel. If you know normally you sit on a towel or on a block, you can grab a sofa cushion if you don't have these things at home. We're going to sit on just the edge of our band. Okay, so just the tip. Open it out. Once you've taken a seat, and a little bit tricky, and I know when we're together in class, in the studio, I come and help you do this. So if you struggle to place this band all the way up the spine, okay, then again, just work without today. So once we're in this position, we gently pull on the band to round and curve to do our spine stretch. Breath in, breath out, round and curve. Good, so a nice mobilization for your spine. It's a really good way to stretch the legs as well, so you get a secondary benefit if you're tight in those legs. If you're working without, hands in front of you here, imagine you're leaning over a big ball in front of you. If you're super tight in your legs, we can work here. Lovely. Just keep listening to your body. What is it telling you? All right, let's finish the one we're on. And let's lie down on our other side. So, when you're ready, side kick, but just pop yourself onto the other side. If you want to use a band, place the band under your foot. If you haven't got one, it's the same movement without. So the band will be in the top leg. Okay, we lie down. Our towel comes in between the head and in between the head and the arm. And then, engaging our belt muscle, we take that top leg forwards and backwards. So breathe out, flex forward, breathe in and point back. Feel that stretch in the back of the leg as you bring that leg forwards. But don't compromise the stability of the spine on that neutral curve. Lovely, well done. So remember, we did a variation of this movement last time where we did the side kick circle. All right, so we take that leg up and round. We can have our bottom leg down, or to be challenged further, we float that bottom leg. If you're really starting to feel wobbly, remember you can have a little fingertip on the floor in front. You don't have to work with that band around your foot. Lovely, and last variation, hot potato, dipping in front and behind. In front and behind. So you're challenging your balance at the front and the back of the body. Excellent, well done. All right, remember, we're going to stretch, so bend your bottom knee to give yourself a bit more support. Draw your foot in. You can either take hold of your band here to stretch the front of your thigh. I want you to push your hip forward, okay, as you draw the heel towards your bottom. You can just grab hold of the foot, and it's still the same thing where you're tilting forward with the pelvis. That's it. Feel the stretch. Front of the thigh and front of the hip. Lovely, well done. Let's finish off with our last movement, okay? The crisscross. So let's work the obliques. So pop yourself onto your back. Take your hands behind your head. Keep your elbows away from your face to a nice big space. And then when you're ready, right shoulder to left hip and left shoulder to right hip. So your foundation level is to have both feet on the floor. If you've moved to an intermediate level, you're a little bit further on your Pilates journey, you can have your feet floated and then continue those rotations. Further still is to extend the leg out and in. So we're aiming for anywhere between 5 and 10 rotations on each side. Remember, I'm not taking into consideration anyone with special populations. So if you had something like osteoporosis, we wouldn't be doing this exercise. In class, we offer different alternatives. So if there is anybody with me today, remember it's the can here that you would be doing as an alternative. Lovely. Once you're done, you're going to bring your knees into your chest. Let your head roll side to side. Release the tension. Well done, good work. Let's stretch our feet away. Stretch your hands over your head, body nice and long. As you stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. It's a nice easy breath now. As you reflect on what you've done and feel the benefits of more space, more length, strength, stability and balance. Okay, open the arms out to the side. Connect the upper body with the floor, bend your knees. Feet and knees together, gentle rotations, side to side. Good, take your knees all the way to one side and look over to the opposite hand. If you want to add assistance, hand on the outside of the thigh and gently draw the knees to the floor. Lovely, let's bring our knees through centre to the other side. Alright, either roll onto one side to come up or hug a knee transition, remembering to use your other knee. Try not to favour just one side. Alright, think about that even balance. Okay, sitting with legs crossed or legs open, we're almost there. One hand either side of your knee, nose down towards your knee. Feel that stretch on the opposite side of your lower back and into your bottom. Lovely, let's change. Alright, come back to centre, take both hands in front of you and push your hands away. Round the shoulders in your upper back. And then take your hands behind you and open your chest. Squeeze together. Okay, nice easy breath. Alright, chin to chest. Head to the right, either holding here or just very gently pulling away. And then we change. Chin to chest, slowly over. And release. Good, Good, well done. Let's come up nice and slowly. So don't rush to get up, take your time. Curl up through the spine. And remember to bring your head and shoulders last. Let's just find our Pilates setup one more time with our feet under our hip sockets. Pelvis and spine neutral, ribs centered, shoulders down, create that V as they allow the shoulders to melt down the back. Good, last engagement of the core. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more time, breath in, and this time you can bring your hands together and give yourself a little well done. Good work, everyone. Have a great week. Remember to keep practicing. The more you practice, the better and stronger you will become. All right. You can find us on the YouTube page for Achieve Lifestyle, and I shall see you all again next week.